All right, so let's take a look at this problem that you tried out on your own. Now, if you remember everything from chapter 4, then for this equation in blue, the best way to graph this one would be to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept by plugging in zeros. So here we plug a 0 in for y, this disappears. We would get negative 6x equals negative 12, which when I solve that, x equals positive 2. So over here I'd put a dot at 2, 0. And then for the y-intercept, plug a 0 in for x. This disappears. So I get 4y equals negative 12, which means y would be negative 3. That would be right here. And since I know it's a straight line, I can graph it. It would look like this. All right, and then I go to the one in red. Now, this is kind of a mixed problem. This one in red is not in standard form, it's in slope-intercept. But again, we know this from the last chapter. So my slope is negative 1. My y-intercept is negative 3. So starting at negative 3, I'm going to go negative 1 over 1, which is down 1 over positive 1, down 1 over positive 1, so on and so forth. So when I graph it, I get a graph that looks like that. All right, and so like we talked about, the place where the two lines cross, which in this case is 0, negative 3, should also be the solution to the system. So if I go back and I check this answer, if I go back and I plug x is 0, y is 3, negative 3, it should make both these equations work. So let's try it for the one in blue here. So when I do the one in blue, I get negative 6 times 0 plus 4 times negative 3 equals negative 12. Well, negative 6 times 0 just disappears. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12, which does equal negative 12, so it checks out. Okay, but it just can't work for one of them. It's got to work for both. So now I go and check the one in red. And the one in red, y, which I'll plug in negative 3, equals negative x, and x is 0, minus 3. Well, once again, in this case, 0 disappears, so I get negative 3 equals negative 3. That checks out also. So we did do it correctly, that this is the solution to the system, 0, negative 3.